all you crafty makers out there, welcome to the Red-Headed Crafter. My name is Ashley and we're so happy you're here. In today's video we will be doing some projects for Christmas and I'm using items from a little bit of everywhere. So I just want to introduce you to Big Daddy, the newest member of our family. He is so cute. And anyways, I just thought you guys would like to see him. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get into crafting. Our first project is going to start out with these cubes from Michael's I got on clearance, but you can also use the cube drawer from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this clipboard from Michael's, but you can use a sign, poster, numbers from Dollar Tree, and we're going to use 4 8-inch pieces and 8 4-inch pieces of these paint stir sticks. Then a decor piece from Dollar Tree and also this ho-ho-ho that we did not use. Start out by cutting your paint stir sticks. Cut 4 8-inch pieces and then we're going to use our miter box to cut 8 4-inch pieces. This miter box is a great tool to have in your arsenal and you can find it in my Amazon links in the description box below. Now, after you get your pieces cut, we will remove that clipboard, and at this time you can sand everything down and then we're going to start putting it together. I just used some scrap paint stir sticks to glue the 4 8-inch pieces together, and then I used a thinner craft stick for these sides. You can't use paint stir sticks because they're too thick. Just lay your 4 pieces together and glue your craft sticks together. Then make sure you draw a line marking where your cubes will be underneath the seat, if that makes sense. You can see what I'm doing. I just glued the top part of my bench on, then I used hot glue to glue each of the sides on. I then realized that that was not going to be enough to hold our sides together, so I had to cut down 2 small dowels and then just glue them on the sides to connect the top of the bench to the side of the bench. You can see I'm bad about explaining. Then I'm gonna just paint my cubes with a base coat of white Waverly chalk paint. And my bench is gonna get a coat of antique Waverly wax. Just brush that Waverly wax on and then wipe it off like you would a regular stain. It dries faster and it's less smelly. It is a great alternative to stain. Just make sure you're going to get the top, sides, back, and inside of it because you can see everything. Then while that's drying, we're going to go back to working on the cubes. I put a piece of painter's tape down, then put a piece of spacer tape down, then another piece of tape down, and so on and so forth till I get done with the whole top of the block. You can use the same piece of spacer's tape, just pull it up, then put your next piece of tape down, go on to the next section. Then I used crimson Waverly chalk paint to paint the stripes on. When you're painting, make sure you are painting away from the tape to prevent bleeding. You're just going to paint away from the tape. You also want to make sure that you are careful when it comes to the edges of the block because we are painting the whole block like this. I just want to take this time to give you guys a big thank you for subscribing and supporting my channel. I really appreciate it and I couldn't do this without you guys. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and share my videos. It really does help my YouTube channel grow. Now, after we're done getting that first coat of red stripes, first set of red stripes done, then when you pull that tape up, it's going to be white. So you pull the tape up, then put it back down using the same tape. You don't want to waste your tape. put it back down just like I'm doing right in the middle of those white lines, and we're going to paint a smaller thin red stripe to get that candy cane look. Just use a really small amount of paint and you won't have any bleeding. You're going to continue this step until you get all of the blocks done like this. Once all of your candy cane stripes are on, we're going to number the blocks. The first block is 0 through 5, and the second block is 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, and 9. There is a certain way you have to number them in order to get the numbers to come out right on the countdown. My kids was so excited for me to get this done because they're so excited for Christmas and they can count down themselves, and trust me, they change it every day when they wake up. So after we get it numbered, then I distressed it to make it look old and weathered. But see, I go over the numbers and the stickers. But after you get this all distressed, make sure you clean it off really, really well, because we're going to add Mod-Podge, and I did not clean mine off really well, and my red paint bled into my white stripes. So learn from my mistakes. I'm here to make the mistakes for you so your projects come out better than mine. Anyway, after we get the Mod-Podge on, then I'm going to decorate our bench with that Merry Christmas decor piece. And behind it, I'm going to add some scraps of greenery and those little ornaments and some pine cones, and then red and silver berries. I'm sorry, I am quite out of frame. So you can barely see what I'm doing, but you know, you get the gist of it. Just hot glue all your greenery, pine cones, and decorations coming out the back of that decor piece. However you want to make it look, this is how it looks, and I loved how it turned out. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Our next project is this wooden round I got from Target Dollar Spot. I started off by removing the jute and giving it a nice coat of white Waverly chalk paint. The other side was done just in a neutral wood round that says home. I made it on my channel quite a few videos back. But I will link that in the description box. After you get that coat of paint, we're going to do the same candy cane stripes that we done on the block. I am doing them at a diagonal, so I started where that jute hanger went and laid down my first piece of tape. Then I put a piece of spacer tape and laid down the next tape, laid down the next piece of tape, and so on and so forth until I got my wood round completely covered with my painter's tape at a diagonal. Then I go across each piece of tape, pressing it in firmly to the wood round to prevent any bleeding. Then just use a small amount of paint and go paint away from your tape to help prevent that bleeding also. You can see how I'm doing it, just painting away from the tape. Whichever side I'm doing, I'm just painting away. And then I go, after I get that done, then I go across it to fill in the middle, if that makes sense. Make sure when you're painting, you're going to get the sides also, because those will show. I'm going to pull up that painter's tape to reveal our beautiful stripes that there is no bleeding at all, and this is just the Dollar Tree painter's tape. Then to get those candy cane stripes in the middle like the blocks, we will just put a piece of painter's tape down, blocking off that center line in the middle, press your fingers down to seal off that tape and use a little bit of tape, or sorry, a little bit of paint, and voila, there is your candy cane stripes. Repeat that step across the whole wood round to get those candy cane stripes. This is what you will have. I then put a piece of jute in those little holes and worked on my gingerbread men. Now you'll see that the wood round isn't painted yet, but I didn't want to show you this part beforehand. So here we are. I used antique Waverly wax, hazelnut, and a little couple of drops of the real brown paint from Folk Art. Mixed that up and got the perfect gingerbread color to paint our letters that say Mary and the Gingerbread Men. I outlined the letters with puffy paint to look like icing, then outlined my gingerbread men as well. I also decorated them, but didn't get the footage of that. It was not very cute. Hopefully you can do a little bit of a better job than I did. But I mean, they're cute. They're fine. I then drew a line down the middle of that wood round where I wanted my letters to sit so I could get them placed evenly when I was hot gluing. After I hot glued the letters down to the wood round, I then hot glued my gingerbread men, and I used, a protractor to get the spacing right. I then made a messy bow by cutting 9-inch strips of fabric, dovetailing the ends, and then laying down a zip tie and putting my ribbons down in a X formation. So I done an X and then one down the middle. Then I done an X and then one down the middle until I got through all of my thicker ribbon. After I done my thick ribbon, I started placing my thinner strips of ribbon. After I got all of the ribbon in there that I wanted, I pulled my zip tie really tight and started fluffing my bow. After making this bow, I realized you may want to do 12-inch strips of ribbon, but anyhow, I stapled some greenery onto my wood round and then hot glued my bow on top of that greenery. Fluffed it up some and then added more greenery to my liking. Then I added some greenery and pine cones to the top of the bow and a bell right in the middle of that. I used a big dollop of hot glue, and this is how it turned out. This is one of my favorite wood rounds that I've ever made. It was just beautiful and the perfect touch to my gingerbread candy cane theme. The next DIY is just these houses, and they're tea light houses from Dollar Tree, and I took this little galvanized yard stake, I think, from Walmart, and I pulled off the stake piece, the long metal rod thing, and I wanted to make it into like a little tea light to go with the houses. Once I got that metal piece off, I took this little pumpkin napkin holder thingamajig, pulled the pumpkin off, and added some Jenga blocks to it so I had something to glue to, so it would touch. I added those Jenga blocks, then a craft stick across there, and then I was able to glue the galvanized piece to that wood. Then I'm going to let that dry and paint the greenhouse with white Waverly chalk paint because the green didn't really match my decor. You can also use spray paint, but I didn't really have any on hand. and it was freezing outside, so I went with chalk paint. Then I'm going to paint make sure you get the tops, the roof, the back, all of that house, because you'll be able to see it. Then I'm going to paint the wood piece with gunmetal gray by Folk Art to better match the galvanized look of the manger. After that was dry, you can put your tea lights in and you're ready to display. Our next project will be using this vase with a lid, or jar with a lid, in a microfiber cloth. I just cut the corners off of it to make it a circle, more of a circle than an oval, and then used this galvanized arrow and I turned it right side up to use it as a house. I just took the puffy paint, making it look like snow on top of that house, and just filled it in real good and let that dry. And this is how it will look. Next, I wanted to make a wreath. I started by cutting down one of the garland twist ties a little bit, because it makes it look a little more high-end. I then rolled it into a circle and wrapped the extra piece around itself, making it look like a wreath. After that, I cut or trimmed up some of the stray hairs a little bit more and flocked it with some white Waverly chalk paint. I then made a bow with the awareness ribbon shape, tying a piece of jute in the middle, and make sure you get it in the middle and get it even before you pull it completely tight. Double knot it, and we're gonna hot glue that onto our wreath. I just dovetailed the ends of that wreath and it looks super cutie patootie. Hot glue your wreath to your now house, and then hot glue that little ribbon to your wreath. I then added some berries from a pick from the Dollar Tree around the wreath. I then glued a cluster of 3 berries to the middle of the bow, and this is how your little house will turn out. After that, I placed it inside of my vase. I placed 2 bottle brush trees, one on each side of the house, and then a little sleigh ornament I found at Dollar Tree. Then I'm going to attach this light to the lid, and you'll be able to turn it on and off, and it lights up at night and it's so cute. I love it. One of my favorites.